Good morning again. So, what are we going to talk about today? My little shower is getting decidedly worse, and everything I seem to be trying at the moment doesn't seem to be working. So, I'm left with a couple of options. Option one is this one. Yes, we're going to do a permanganate dip. Harsh, yes. Effective, mostly. Cheap, very. 1 gram per 10 litres. Lots and lots of air. Leave him in for 5 minutes, and hopefully that will get rid of a lot of the bacteria and the necrosis, and hopefully give him half a chance. Then he'll be going into a quarantine IBC that I'm setting up, which I will potentially try and heat. I will salt, and we'll see where we go from there. But this bacterial infection is getting worse, not better. So the Virkon and the Aquaflavin at the moment are not doing the job. The next option from that is antibiotics, which at this point in time is potentially going to be unaffordable. It may end up with me euthanizing the fish, which will be sad because I really like him, but I also can't let him basically rot away in front of my eyes. So that's that one. So we're just going to let that bubble away for 15-20 minutes, make sure it's thoroughly mixed, thoroughly oxygenated, and then we'll try and fish him out and put him in his nice little bath. The other thing is, I was going to do a video on this the other evening, but I forgot. I don't know how many of you watch the koi wholesale live chats, but the last one, I think it's number 6, don't quote me on that though, is absolutely amazing. Ricky has probably forgotten more about koi keeping than most of us will ever know. But he actually came out with something that I've been thinking for a very long time, is that people are overcomplicating things. They're chasing parameters that don't exist. They're chasing TDS. Trickle in, trickle out systems. I mean, I've been keeping koi over 30 years now, and a lot has changed in that time, and I'll be the first to hold my hands up. I set my pond up 28 years ago. It ran fine for 20 odd years. Then we moved, I set another one up using very much the same sort of systems. It ran fine for 5 years, and then I started losing fish. So I started panicking, as you do when you start. 30-year-old fish just start dropping down dead every other day. And I started looking into, what it could be. And I started finding channels like James the Koi Whisperer, and about moving beds and drums and all these various new filters. Well, new to me anyway. And the last update on filtration wowness I knew of was the Nexus, when my uncle got one, and we always said when we moved we'd get a Nexus. And trickle in, trickle out systems and all this sort of thing. So, oh great, I've got a big blue for when I top up. I'll set up a trickle in, trickle out. But ever since I've done that, I seem to have more problems than when I used to just leave the pond alone. And in this last 12 months, I was sat chatting to my partner the other night, and she said, well, when I first met you, you used to go out, feed the fish, clean the filters, end of. You used to just leave it alone, and the fish were fine. And this last 12 months, I've been fiddling and faffing around with doing lots of water tests and worrying about water parameters and trickle in, trickle out systems, and I seem to have had nothing but trouble. So I'm going to go back old school. I'm going to go back to flushing my filters once every few days and just leave it to get on with it. Might test my water every couple of weeks just to make sure, but I'm pretty confident that the filters I've got will handle all the parameters. I'm just going to leave it alone, and I'm going to stop chucking stuff in and stop worrying about it and just enjoy the fish instead of chasing my tail. And if you actually go and listen to some of Ricky's live broadcasts, he puts them all up retrospectively so you can watch them at any point. If you actually go back through, he keeps on about simplifying things. And I have to say that things have got very, very complicated. I mean, when you have a long time out of looking into stuff. I mean, I worked at a fish place when I was 18. I'm 52 this year. And I worked there for a few years. And my first job there was making box filters. Taking water tanks and making box filters out of them. And everybody ran box filters. That's all there was. So that would have been in about 88, 87, 88. And the majority of ponds at that time didn't even really have filters. Most garden ponds had a recirculating pump, and that was about it. So, yeah, that's not great. Not having a filter, not brilliant. But we ran a 5,000 gallon pond on 2 box filters. In fact, I've still got the box filters. And the biggest one was what you call a 50 gallon water tank, loft water tank. A Cyprio box filter, which had 2 rows of brushes, 9 filter foams, and some flow core in the bottom. And that ran a 5,000 gallon pond. We didn't lose a fish. We didn't do water tests. We didn't have TDS meters. We didn't have hanometers. We never lost a fish. We had fish in that pond that we'd taken from 2 houses before. Fish in that pond that were 30 years old. And yes, it's lovely if you've got £5,000 to spend on filters, but I can get just as good water clarity off a box filter in a moving bed than people can get with £5,000 worth of Oase drum or Quinnicoy drum or Draco drum. Yes, they're easier to clean. Yes, they're not as much maintenance. But for me, that takes some of the hobby away when things get too easy. So anyway, that's just my thoughts on it. That things are getting overcomplicated. And technology moves on and it's great. But for me, it takes something out of the hobby. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go and try and net up this fish. We'll give him a dip for 5 minutes. And we'll see if he picks up. I'm not going to video that because everyone knows about catching fish and putting them in the bowl. The main thing with this is 1 gram of PP per 10 litres of water and lots and lots and lots of air, and don't leave them in for more than about 5 to 7 minutes, and don't leave them. Watch them every second, because the minute they start to roll over and look uncomfortable, get them out, get them dipped in some water, clean water, get them back in the pond. So I may come back later and see how it went. This is a bit of a kill or cure treatment because this fish is quite advanced in this bacterial infection. It could go one of 2 ways. I'm hoping it goes the right way, but it could go wrong, which I won't be happy about if it does. But I'm running out of options and the fish is going to die anyway. So we'll give it a go. We'll see what happens, and I'll give you an update later.